So Sebastian Stan has, of course, been talking about the upcoming Marvel movie, The Thunderbolts. Now that we are in heavy swing for Thunderbolts promotions and things to be discussed about this film, I'm sure the channel will feature a lot of Thunderbolt content. I recently did a video, if you guys haven't checked it out, about how the director has recently compared Thunderbolts to Toy Story 3. Thunderbolts is the MCU's Toy Story 3, apparently. If you haven't checked that video out, like I know a lot of you haven't, go check it out now. But Sebastian Stan's now been talking about the movie. And this is what he's had to say. Sebastian Stan addresses how Bucky Barnes becomes the leader of Marvel's misfit Avengers and Thunderbolts. Bucky Barnes, actor Sebastian Stan, explains why the former Winter Soldier ends up joining and leading a group of MCU anti-heroes in Thunderbolts. Bucky Barnes' MCU journey has been a tragic one, having been transformed into a killing machine by Hydra and worked as an assassin for decades. After redeeming himself in the eyes of the Avengers, Bucky Barnes finally got rid of his programming and tried to atone for his actions with the help of Sam Wilson. Sebastian Stan's anti-heroes seem to have found a quiet and peaceful life in Falcon and the Winter Soldier's ending. However, Bucky Barnes seemed to have gone back to his old ways in Thunderbolts. In an interview with Empire, Thunderbolts star Sebastian Stan addresses the fact that Bucky Barnes has fallen back into his old habits, comparing Bucky to The Godfather Part 3 Michael Corleone, paraphrasing Al Pacino's character, "Every time I try to get out, they pull me back in." Stan explains that meeting people just like him convinces Bucky to join them of his own volition. This is what he says. "It's like the Al Pacino quote from The Godfather 3, every time I try to get out, they pull me back in. Bucky's going to come across this group and realise they are quite similar in a way to him. So I think he feels he can contribute and be a leader." Bucky Barnes may have deactivated his Winter Soldier programming, but as the Falcon and Winter Soldier suggests, Bucky doesn't remember what life used to be like without it. Bucky is so accustomed to fighting that living like a regular person isn't enough. Although Captain America Brave New World revealed that Bucky Barnes is now a congressman, his violent impulses may lead him to find another fight. This time alongside the Thunderbolts. Sebastian Stan's comments support this idea, though they also suggest that Bucky will be pulled into the Thunderbolts by an external force, possibly by Valentina Agre de Fonte's influence. Whatever pushes Bucky Barnes back to revisit the Winter Soldier days as a member of Thunderbolts, he will likely regret it at some point. The Thunderbolts have little chance of stopping Sentry, and Bucky's chance of dying in the Thunderbolts are the same as his fellow anti-heroes. On the other hand, Michael Corleone is unable to escape his and his family's past in The Godfather Part 3, and he suffers his life's biggest tragedy soon after he realises it. However, Corleone survives, retires, and dies of old age. Sebastian Stan's Godfather 3 comparison could be a hint that Bucky Barnes will survive the events of Thunderbolts, having made some sacrifices along the way. Every MCU hero is a different point in their journey. Characters like America Chavez and Kate Bishop are only beginning to find their footing as heroes, while heroes like Doctor Strange and Thor are now incredibly experienced Avengers at this point. However, two heroes seem to have completed their areas, yet they don't seem anywhere close to retiring. Bucky Barnes and Smart Hulk have both come to terms with their past, and they're still up to crime fighting. Something dramatic may have to happen to give Bucky Barnes a definitive farewell, and it could come as early as Thunderbolts. So I guess the question they're sort of now asking at the end of that article is, will Bucky Barnes die? Sebastian Stan's, of course, going to be the leader. What brings him back in, to be honest, people I don't think they've realised. I think they're now, Marvel's doing the White Wolf story, where he's not the Winter Soldier, he is the White Wolf. If they do Winter Soldier again, I'll be a bit confused, because I always thought after Falcon and Winter Soldier, we were going into that White Wolf phase. Maybe the real reason Bucky Barnes is there to oversee and maybe stop these anti-heroes from getting too out of hand. Because remember, Bucky Barnes isn't he isn't actually a villain. He is a hero. And, you know, he should be celebrated as one. And the reason why I say this is because, look at Endgame. he fought alongside the Avengers to stop that threat. None of the others have. In fact, the majority of them have tried to kill Avengers or become an Avenger and be a bad Avenger, right? Whereas Bucky never really seemed to do that. He was misunderstood. He maybe didn't trust himself when he should have. And at the end of the day, Bucky Barnes is probably back in the swing of things. And I kind of hope they do this story where he's looking out for these anti-heroes because he doesn't trust them. He's leading them because he knows he would have been a great Captain America, but Steve chose Falcon because at that point in the story, Falcon was more ready than he was. That's kind of the basis. So is this Bucky's way of honouring his old friend's legacy? I definitely think it is. Will Bucky Barnes die in this movie? Well, that I think we'll have to wait and see. But if Marvel really do want to make an impact, out of any of the characters that can die, Bucky will be the one that will get fans tearing up, being sad. And if they want to make it a tearjerker movie, they do that. Bucky's been in the MCU now for 10 years. So that sort of means that it is very likely he will end up perishing at some point. I think if they're going to put him in Avengers Doomsday, does he maybe demise then? Who knows? But I think it's a big possibility that he could die. And although they say he quotes The Godfather, yeah, he quotes the character about every time he's out, they pull him back in. Because remember, he was out of the game completely after Civil War. He retired. He was on Wakanda, getting better, healing, and he was free of everything. And they pulled him back in because they had to. They had no choice. Then they've done it again here. After the Winter Soldier, he was retired, he was happy, and they've done it again here. So every time they're out, they do pull him back in, and he's absolutely correct with that quote. So I guess the sort of discussion we're going to have down below will be literally, what do you think's the driving point for Bucky to return, and do you think Bucky will die in Thunderbolts? I don't know. I think it'll be interesting because if the rumours are true and Chris Evans is returning as Captain America, does that mean that you're going to have that moment where Cap realises that he's dead? And you're going to have that moment with him and Sam? And maybe Sam gives him the shield back for them movies. I don't know. I think the MCU is going into a soft reboot, though, where they're going to bring back a lot of the OG characters in different creative ways to maybe do spin-offs of movies. Like Captain America, for example, could essentially become old Cap ahead of being the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. And, you get rid of Samuel L. Jackson's character. You get rid of Nick Fury. I don't know, maybe that's an idea, but that'll be for another video. But do you think Bucky Barnes will die, and what do you think is the reason Bucky Barnes returns to his old ways in the Thunderbolts? I can't wait for this film. This movie releases May 2nd of this year. Let's get going. Let's get rocking. Cannot wait. Also, Harrison Ford's in it, isn't he? As Thunderbolt Ross. So with that being said, I'll see you on the next one. And goodbye for now. Oh yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and stay cinematic. I never forget that.